All right, hello everybody, and this is our final official exam prep session. So we're just going to go over a couple of things, and essentially we're going to be looking at one of the old exam papers. So I think we can move on from this guy. I think this applies to the year as well. I think most of us are over the year. All right. So what I've done is I've taken the 2024 exam paper and just made it available here to show you that when you are sitting in the exam, and I'm not sure how this would work if you're using Duga. I'm assuming most of you, if not all of you, are going to actually physically go and write at an exam center. But yeah, with the Duga setup, I'm guessing you'll make notes or however that works. In terms of if you're physically writing the paper, what my advice would be to you is you have obviously studied before you enter the exam venue and you've worked through old papers. So you've got a fairly good idea of the different concepts. So when you are using your 10-minute reading time, you are allowed to make notes on the exam paper itself from my understanding. And what I would suggest that you do is that for all your case study information that they give you, that you highlight important information on that. You can even go so far as to make small little notes for yourself. So what I've done here is kind of to give you some sort of indication of what exactly it is that might be helpful to you. We've got the scenario from the 2024 exam paper, and here you can see Alex is the founder and CEO of a growing e-commerce platform, and they specialize in handmade artisanal products. Alex has been at the helm for 3 years, steering the company through initial successes. So this means that they have been successful in the past. So all these small things give you some sort of indication. They will tell you, have they been successful in the past? Have they not been successful in the past? In this case, the company did work. Things were working out in the company. But now let's say, however, recent shifts in the market and increased competition have presented unforeseen challenges. So I forgot to underline the unforeseen challenges. So they've had a bit of a plateau in their growth. That means that they're stagnant. They're not growing. They're not going anywhere. Their sales aren't increasing. Their sales aren't decreasing, but they're not increasing, which is obviously something, if you are in an organization, you want to do. You want to keep on increasing sales figures. Now, Alex is recognizing that there's a problem, and he's recognizing that his leadership style isn't working. That in itself is also important. We can't assume that somebody always recognizes that they and acknowledges and sees that they are doing something wrong, or that what they are doing is not working. It's not to say that what he's doing is wrong. It's just it's not working anymore. So, and remember, it must have worked because they were initially successful. So Alex has done some introspection. He's realized that his leadership style is not working anymore based on the market shifts and the increased competition. So now he has decided to adopt a collaborative and adaptive leadership approach instead. So that means he has not been doing this up to now. He's going to change to that. And how did he get to this? Feedback from his team. Now, again, all these things are little clues. This means Alex actually took the time to get feedback from his team. And moreover, it indicates that he took that feedback to heart, because he's making decisions to change how he is doing things based on their feedback. Now, what exactly did the team say? They expressed a desire for more involvement in decision-making, and also a need for a more flexible approach to navigate the rapidly changing market. So Alex has done the smart thing here. He knows that his team is the one actually dealing with the public. His team is the one dealing with the situation. So they might be in a good position to give him feedback. He's done that. He's asked for the feedback and he's now willing to adopt whatever suggestions they've made or use the suggestions they've made to change how he is doing things. He acknowledges the importance of adaptability. So that flexible approach, adaptability. He invests in training programs for employees to enhance their skills and also to stay updated with industry trends. And because of this, there's a whole cultural shift in the company. And sorry for that, the dog's a bit brain break. Shh, hey, yeah. Sorry. He invests in training programs for employees to enhance their skills, stay updated on industry trends, and the company undergoes a cultural shift with an emphasis on learning from failures. They're also implementing strategies based on feedback from the market. So you need to understand that based on what they're doing, based on what Alex has decided to start doing, that is also impacting on his employees and how they are viewing things. So one of the things I've noticed in previous papers is in all the case studies, there's sort of a before and after. So what was the result of the actions being taken? And that's also something you need to know, that is probably going to be important once I start reading the question. There was a before and there's an after. There's a result from the actions being taken. There's a result from the changes being made. And also remember, again, those results could be positive or they could be negative. And then based on the results you're getting because of the change, you then might need to still adapt more or change more. Right. So we've seen here, it seems like there's a positive outcome. Then they go further, final paragraph. As a result of these changes, company experiences a rejuvenated sense of purpose and direction. People in the teams feel more engaged and motivated. They contribute creativity and unique strengths, probably because they are feeling more engaged and more motivated. And because of this, the company is moving forward. There's positive changes in the platform, customer satisfaction is up, market share is up, overall growth is up. And this indicates that the transformational leadership style that Alex has adopted is in fact paying dividends. So again, note here, there are two distinct aspects here, the changes in the people and the changes in the company. And the changes in the company is directly a result of the changes in the employees. Right, so what does the question say? Okay, first, a couple of hints. Use your reading time to do what I just did, underline, make notes of certain concepts, underline keywords. Because you've done that, you already have your examples up and running. Basically, you've underlined it, you can spot them quickly, and you should be able to identify some of the elements that I've mentioned now. We've got the theory list of the impact of employee morale. We've got the list of impact of people buying into ideas, leadership, etc., etc. So where are the examples of that? We want to link the application to the theory. So let's get to the questions. Question 1.1, and this is 30 marker. Also, just quickly note before I carry on, this paper was still out of 120. They have changed the assessment processes. You would have probably noticed. We used to always have 120 mark questions for exams. Excuse me. Now we have a 100 mark paper. So you'll probably end up with a couple of 25 markers or a couple of 20 marker questions. That's my guess. So question 1.1, discuss the role of 21st century the 21st century manager in guiding their companies through the ever-changing and demanding work environment. Refer to Alex's example to support your answer. So you're going to identify what the job, what the role, what the function of a 21st century manager is, in theory. And then you're going to directly give me some examples of Alex and how he's been displaying these attributes, things he's done that is in line with 21st century manager roles. So what I would suggest, give me the theory, and then, so let's say they have adaptability, as illustrated by Alex, Right, so have a little integrated discussion, get into the habit of an integrated discussion. 1.2, differentiate between leadership and management by making reference to Alex in the scenario above. Provide an explanation of the characteristics of an effective leader to support your answer. So you will need to give me the definition of management and the definition of leadership. And then you will need to tell me how they differ. And we can see here Alex is identified clearly as a leader. So we will, as part of leadership and management, also include a discussion on what the characteristics are of leaders, and then tie that directly to the characteristics of things you've seen with Alex. Amongst other things, if we look at the scenario here, specifically this section, willingness to make changes, the listening to your team members, giving them some guidance and training, etc., etc. Those things probably will feature somewhere. So go and have a look at that. Again, link the theory with the actual examples from the scenario. What I am going to do is I'm actually going to make this a task that you guys can submit your answers to this. I'll break it up in different questions, and then I can give you some feedback on your answers. All right, so question 2. Let's see if I've got anybody in the room. Nope. Okay. So with question 2, Olivia is the HR director of a high-pressure financial consultancy firm. As the company faces intensifying demands and tight deadlines, Olivia recognizes the urgent need to address employee wellness, as well as to prevent burnout and aggression in the workplace. So the burnout, the aggression is a direct result from the high-pressure environment, right? As the So as the company is facing this now, obviously those are the results of that. So you need to understand that's a direct result. Olivia recognizes the urgent need to address the wellness as well as to prevent the burnout and aggression. So again, remember, you can sit with your head up your rear and not understand that a change is needed, or you can actually actively address a change. So that's what Olivia is doing here. She knows that we need to make changes. And moreover, she understands that this is an urgent issue. Something like burnout is not something that you just let go, because it gets to a point where the person potentially ends up in a psychiatric ward, ends up in hospital. It's a serious thing. We tend to make it sound not so serious in the real world a lot of times, but actually burnout can be a very, very bad thing and can lead to physical illness as well. So definitely not something that you ignore. Aggression, same thing. The moment that you spot any sort of hint of aggression, then you need to take action immediately, or else you've got problems. So Olivia recognizes this. She's not living in la la land, ignoring it. So what she's doing to tackle burnout, she implements a flexible work arrangement policy. So employees can now manage themselves, essentially their own schedules. And the idea of this is to promote a healthier work-life balance. So if you want to go and attend your child's soccer game or rugby game or tennis match or whatever, you can do so as long as you get your job done. If you need to start a bit later to drop the kids off at school, not a problem. If you need to Take lunch a bit later to go and pick kids up from school, not a problem. She also introduces a mental health day policy, encouraging employees to take days off when needed. So these are the things that she has implemented now to try and address the burnout issue, try and address the aggression issue, which might also, by the way, be the result of the burnout issue. So understanding the potential for stress to escalate into aggression, Olivia focuses on fostering a supportive workplace culture. So instead of pointing fingers now, we are actually trying to support people. Also important. She conducts conflict resolution workshops. So she's now actively giving employees tools to deal with conflict. And also stress-related challenges. She introduces physical wellness programs and make sure that there are clear communication channels where people that are part of the team can talk freely. So I don't have to worry about somebody now going off and being annoyed by the fact that they have now dared to voice their discontent with something. She's giving people a chance to vent. She's giving people a chance to raise issues. And also, we focusing a lot of the negative things now, but I'm fairly certain it also encourages an environment where people are patting each other on the back or saying, well done, or thank you, or whatever. So she's doing all of these things. Come on. There we go. As a result, and same as the first question, as I said to you guys, all of these things, they tell you the before and the after, and the consequences, the repercussions of the decisions made, the changes made. So what are the repercussions? What are the consequences? There's a decrease in burnout cases. People are collaborating more. The workplace is more harmonious. People aren't aggressive, biting each other's heads off. And why? Because there's a more positive attitude. People are more respectful in the workplace. The culture of the organization has changed. We changed the culture. So it's not only enhancing employee well-being, but it's also preventing burnout and aggression. And long-term, a more successful firm. Because people aren't taking days off. People aren't doing things in haste. People aren't doing things with a agitated mindset. And that actually makes a major, major difference. Important to note. So, with that in mind now, discuss burnout and aggression as common consequences of stress, and then provide examples of factors that may contribute to burnout and aggression in the scenario above. So again, here you need to link the theory with the application. So you need to tell me, if we talk about burnout and aggression, what are the common symptoms here? What are the results of that? How is it tied to stress? Does stress contribute or not? And then give specific examples from the scenario, things that may contribute to the burnout and aggression. If we look at the scenario, the first thing that they tell you is a high pressure financial consultancy firm. There's more demands, tight deadlines. So people are probably, and now think, if it's high pressure, that means that people are required to keep a certain standard, a certain level. I'm going to guess it's fairly fast paced. There are more demands, so that means we expect more of our people. Tight deadlines, so little time to get things done. That's again, if you look at your textbook, those are all things that are discussed in terms of creating more stress at work. And then look at what the consequences thereof are. Okay. And when you are, by the way, when you are answering, when you're giving examples, you're free to actually take it as is. I'm not going to worry about you paraphrasing. You can take the statement from the case study as is and put it in inverted commas if you want to. I'm happy with that. Anything that saves you time, makes your life easier. Like I said, don't worry about paraphrasing, especially I know some people struggle a little bit with language, and you might be worried, oh, what if I phrase something incorrectly? If you copy it and paste directly as is from the scenario, just like I said, inverted commas, well, I say copy and paste, you're going to be writing physically. So just writing down exactly what you've read in the scenario. I'm happy with that. Then 2.2, explain how the distress-prone and distress-resistant personality types respond to stress. So what do we mean by distress-prone personality? What do we mean by distress-resistant personality? So give me the definitions. Now tell me how they handle stress. And then give me specific examples from how those specific things could apply to the above scenario. So again, a bit of application. And yeah, probably you're not going to be quoting directly, but you can look at the scenario itself in terms of the tight deadlines, etc., etc. How would a person respond to the tight deadlines? How would a person respond to the increasing demand and the change in demand? Right. Question 3. David is the project manager at a technology company specializing in software development. His project team consists of individuals from diverse backgrounds and skill sets. To foster effective teamwork, he initiates team building exercises and workshops, focusing on enhancing communication and collaboration. These activities create a cohesive unit that can leverage each member's strengths to tackle project challenges. However, as the team is always a but, as the team works on critical projects with tight deadlines, conflicts arise due to differing opinions on the project's approach. Recognizing the potential impact on productivity, and again here, David could sit with his head up his rear or not, and he isn't. He realizes, whoa, this could be a problem. So he says, okay, instead of now ignoring this, I'm going to proactively address it. How? He implements a structured conflict resolution process. Opening discussions with team members to express their concerns is facilitated, and he facilitates mediation to find common ground and teach consensus. So what do we mean by mediation? It means there's a neutral third party that sits there, the two people that are, or two groups that are arguing with each other. This neutral third person will let both of them voice their opinions and then basically act as a middleman. Remember, if you're in a conflict situation, a lot of times people are so focused on, their own anger, their own frustration, their own irritation, they're not really listening to the other party. So what the mediator does is he now actively listens to both, and because this person has no interest either or, it's no skin of his or her back, they're able to say, but hang on a second, so actually what you are saying is this. But is that not exactly what that person is saying? And then, oh, so essentially like a nice little neutral middle ground person that can get people to see the same things. Right. So poor David, he's facilitating this process. They're also given the opportunity to share their unique insights, fostering an environment where everybody feels valued and heard. And again, how do we deal with effective teams, or how do we create effective teams? Rather, we create an opportunity, amongst other things, for discussion. As a result of these initiatives, again here, consequences, repercussions, benefits of the decisions taken by David. The project team not only overcomes conflicts, but also becomes more resilient and adaptable. The diverse skill set contributes to innovative solutions, and the conflict resolution process strengthens the team's ability to navigate challenges effectively. The successful completion of the project highlights the importance of David's strategic focus on group and team dynamics. So whatever he did must have worked, because this project is not a failure. This project actually succeeded. That's what they mean there, successful completion of the project. So yay, they did it. Also signifies the value of diverse perspectives within the organizational context. So we're not saying that having diverse opinions is a bad thing. We're saying it's a good thing, but you have to leverage it, which David clearly was intent on doing and did do. And part of the result of that was the successful project completion. So what do the questions say? Describe the characteristics of team-based organizations. Now, again, you've seen there, they said diverse opinions, meaning I've got diverse people. I've got people from different backgrounds, people with different skill sets, levels of knowledge, levels of experience, which by default will mean a melting pot for conflict. So you need to describe characteristics of team-based organizations and give examples from that scenario to support your answer. So again, here they talk about diverse backgrounds, skill sets from these people. People have certain strengths, people have certain weaknesses. I'm going to guess people have different abilities to deal with deadlines and tight deadlines. And that obviously has resulted in some conflict. So a couple of things you can say there. And like I said, again, if you are quoting there, you can actually in inverted commas say, the team consists of individuals from diverse backgrounds and skill sets. You don't have to try and paraphrase that. I know it's an exam, you're limited time-wise, you're stressed. So by all means, if you want to quote directly like that, go ahead. All right. Discuss the causes of conflict within an organization and give examples of factors that may lead to conflict in the above scenario. So again, you're going to give me the theory causes of conflict and just make sure it clearly indicates conflict can be caused by various things such as, and then you can list them, and then examples of factors that may lead to conflict in the scenario. And again, we've got people from diverse backgrounds and skill sets. There are tight deadlines. People have different opinions on things. They give a couple of examples here. Make sure you note those things in your answer. Right. In the mid-2000s, question 4, XYZ Automotive, once prominent car manufacturer. So everything else so far has been, yay, they were successful. Now it's like, oh, they were, now they've lost the plot. They found themselves in dire straits. Why? They're grappling with declining market share, an uninspiring product lineup, and internal challenges affecting innovation and employee motivation. To steer the company towards success, the newly appointed CEO, Maria Rodriguez, initiates a comprehensive organizational transformation known as Project Revive. Maria's first strategic move was to revamp the product portfolio rather, discontinuing underperforming models and prioritizing the development of a new line of electric and hybrid vehicles to align with evolving consumer preferences and environmental concerns. She also recruited top talent from the automotive and tech industry to infuse fresh perspectives and drive innovation. Recognizing the importance of cultivating a positive workplace culture, Maria focused on fostering a sense of purpose and collaboration in the company. She instituted regular town hall meetings. So that basically means everybody gets together in a room and they discuss problems, successes, etc., encouraging open communication and transparency. Additionally, Maria championed a culture of continuous improvement, inspiring employees to contribute innovative ideas and be part of the company's revitalization. The results of Project Revive were transformative. XYZ Automotive experienced a revival in market share with notable upticks in sales of electric and hybrid vehicles. Employee morale reached new heights as the company regained its reputation for innovation. Maria's strategic vision, coupled with a focus on product innovation, workplace culture, and brand repositioning, successfully revitalized XYZ Automotive, establishing it as a front runner in the automotive industry. So they've gone from 0 to hero, apparently, thanks to Maria's thinking, her culture that she tried to instill in the organization, her recruitment tactics in terms of getting highly skilled people in, experienced people in, etc. Now, in an academic essay of not more than 2 pages, define Kotter's model of organizational change. Apply to the XYZ automotive scenario below. Below are Kotter's steps for leading organizational change. So, academic essay means introduction, conclusion. Do not spend a lot of time on the introduction. Do not spend a lot of time in the conclusion. All you say to me in the introduction is, and because the focus is on Kotter's model of organizational change, you can say to me something to the extent of various models of organizational change exist. However, for the purpose of this essay, we will be discussing Kotter's model of organizational change with regards to XYZ Automotive. And I'm happy with that as an introduction. Do not have to give me more. That's what, like 3 sentences? I'm happy with that. It's an exam. So I'm more worried about your content. There will be marks for the intro and the conclusion. And guys, I'm happy to give you full marks for that intro because you're telling me what you're going to be doing. That's all I need. I don't need a long spiel. Just in short, what are we doing? Boom. Now, there they give you the 8 steps, and they give you a level of detail there as well with regards to what each one entails action-wise. So what I would suggest, and you've been given these things, so I'm not entirely sure that you should, you could. It depends on your time. If you have the time, all right, you can go step 1, establish a sense of urgency, and then discuss that. Step 2, so these are subheadings you're going to have. Step 2, create a guiding coalition. If you do not have time for the additional establishing a sense of urgency, create a guiding coalition, etc., give me step 1, underline, write your little discussion on step 1. Step 2, underline, create this little discussion. Like I said, what they do give marks for, amongst other things, and they give you the discussion here. Marks are rewarded for essay structure and overall quality. So with the structure, that's what we mean. That's what I meant by the subheadings: the introduction heading, the step 1, step 2, or Kotter. So what you could actually start off with here, because you can see there they want the definition of the model of organizational change. You can actually have a heading, Kotter's model of organizational change, define it, and then as a leading in sentence go, it consists of various steps, column. And then you can say step 1, and then discuss, step 2, discuss, step 3, discuss, all the way up to step 8, discussion, little conclusion, and boom. So what they say also here, aside from the definition that they want, ensure that you provide a detailed application of each step to Kotter's model of organizational change, making a direct reference to the scenario presented. Provide at least 3 points per step to illustrate an application of the model to the scenario. So you could give me a little Reader's Digest version of this. You can just say to me, understanding reasons for change as illustrated by, and then you can give me little bullet points, little discussions. They selected and empowered cross-functional groups of people to lead the change by give me the example from the scenario. Right, so like I said, big thing here, make sure, because it's an essay, you've got your headings and your subheadings. Don't overdo it. It's an exam. They said about 2 pages. You have limited time. And as I said, you need to just kind of look at your watch. If you've got the time to then write out that step 1 entails establishing a sense of urgency, that's great. Otherwise, I am happy with just step 1. And then the discussion of the actions attached to it with the relevant examples from the scenario. Nice little conclusion in a couple of words. As can be seen in XYZ Automotive, yeah, I did get that right. They have implemented various steps attached to Kotter's model of organizational change, and this has resulted in a increase in the company's success. That's short, sweet. I'm happy with it. Right. Don't, like I said, it's an exam. There's enough stress, time limit. I type a lot faster than I write. So yeah. And that essentially is the 2024 test paper. So as I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make available a link where you I'm going to break up the questions. So I'm going to create a little link where you can go ahead and you can upload your answers to those in brief, because I'm assuming you're going to work through old papers in prep. And you can upload those. I can give you an overview of if there are things missing, certain examples you missed. And guys, very importantly with exams, make sure every single example is listed. I'm happy to see they aren't, the scenarios themselves are quite short. So that's a good thing. So that means you've got the time, or you should have the time. Give me every single possible example that there is. Do not skip out on things and think, oh, if I mentioned 2 out of the 4, it's good enough. Give me every single one. That's the one thing I usually see with exams, where people don't give me all the examples. And that's sometimes problematic. And then in terms of the prep, as I said before, break up your work into smaller sections. So I work on pages. I don't work on chapters or this or that. Chapters for me becomes difficult to manage time-wise, studying-wise. So I actually break up. I look at, okay, between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, how many pages can I reasonably do? And then I actually physically go to the textbook and I look at the specific pages to see what's on there. If it's something I see that, look, I'm going to struggle remembering this, I'm going to really now, I'm just maybe going to say, like, I'm going to cover 5 pages in the hour. If it's something I'm going to easily memorize, I can look at it and go, oh, okay, I can do about 15 pages reasonably. You should by now have a relatively good idea of what you study easily and what you don't. And if you over or underestimate or whatever, you can always adjust your schedule. Other thing that I said, just to repeat again, from the previous session, I would suggest start off a session with 1 or 2 pages of stuff you don't like or things you have problems with. Then it's over and done with, because usually what you do, well, at least I know I tend to do this. So usually what happens is I will put off the stuff I hate and put off the stuff I hate. And then the day before the exam, I haven't looked at the stuff I hate. So I've gotten into the habit of the stuff I hate, I actually slot that in very small sections, very small, at the start of each study session. And then it's done. And then I follow it up with the stuff I like. So my encouragement to get through the stuff I dislike is the fact that next I'm doing the stuff I do like. Working little breaks, if you can. I know it's hard if you're working. Studying and working is a bit of a nightmare, but do your best. I have full confidence in you that you can get the stuff done. You've come this far. Final hurdle, just hang in there. Any questions?
Hi, Antonia. No, I'm all good.
Oh, okay, no, brilliant.
Sorry,
right,
I joined a little bit late, but yeah. So I know I checked. So is this our first or our last recording?
I think it is
For the exam.
I think so, yeah. What I have said I would do is I'm busy actually recording little chapter overviews that I'm hoping to have done. I see you guys only write on the 20th of November.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, because I don't know whether are we having a masterclass or is there an exam brief?
I actually haven't seen anything yet. I was actually, because I wanted to find out about the bookings on campuses, and I was told they do that closer to the exam. So I'm not sure if they're going to wait till end November. In November, no, that's going to work. End October to do that, or what their plan is. That's yeah. So I think there's a lot of things that are still sort of hanging a bit, but it's good that you mentioned the exam brief. I will
Yeah,
have a look at
because
that.
so let me tell you, I actually also got the Duggar platform and I tried it and I wasn't too comfortable. So I just actually asked them, could I write in on campus? And then I emailed VC and they've said to me it's not a problem. It is an option, it's optional.
Yeah.
So it says OAP, so it's optional.
Yeah.
And my exam center is in Pretoria, so I'm all sorted. That's not an issue. So it was just a simple email and it was all done. So yeah, it's very easy to get it sorted rather earlier than later.
Yes.
Because I did check, I actually thought my session, for some reason, I thought my lecture was last week, but I remembered that the previous one I'd had with you, and then there was the week off last week, and then there's this one. So, yeah, so I just thought we're going to cover anything else in the textbook. So we're completely done with the syllabus. Am I correct in saying that?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, all right, perfect.
Now, like I said, from my side, what I'm going to do is we're just going to have per chapter, because obviously if we every second week we're skipping a lot of stuff and we're handling multiple chapters. So I'm going to do small little chunks per chapter just to kind of highlight the difficult stuff. I've also said that you guys, if there's something specific you guys are not sure about, that you really need extra help on, let me know. Because then what I can do is I can make extra resources available. I can find extra YouTube videos. I am in the process also of doing that anyway. But I mean, if I know specifically there are certain sections or certain models or things that you're really struggling with, or you finding it difficult to memorize and stuff like that, like I said, I can work that into the actual session or find other sessions. Sometimes I actually find somebody else that's got a brilliant video on how to memorize and how to study certain things. And I mean, in that case, I give you that instead of having to listen to my boring voice.
No, yeah, I mean, it does help us. So I think also what helps for me is I went back to our module outline and just to make sure, because sometimes you end up reading the textbook but that doesn't help because not all parts of the textbook is being used. So that's also the different challenge.
Yeah. So, yeah, actually, now that you mentioned that, what I probably can also do to facilitate that is sort of point out the specific pages in the textbook.
Yeah, I think that will help tremendously because, for example, we've obviously done assignment 1 and we've done assignment 2, but I mean, we're not sure whether something will come out at the year end, in the exam from that part of the textbooks. But so it might help if you maybe just direct us to the critical pages and we work around that. Not that that's the only thing that could come out, but instead of reading cover to cover and, it does make it easier.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I look at my knowledge management module, for instance, we skip a lot of stuff.
Yes, exactly.
It's not covered in the learning outcomes. So, of course, now I always get the students that never attend class that now, yeah, but you haven't done this, ma'am. Like, yeah, I didn't do it because it's not covered in the module outline or learning outcome. Then they give me a funny look. I'm like, yeah, you might want to look at that. But that said, that module is a bit challenging in how they phrase it. It's sometimes difficult to figure out, is this actually part of the learning outcome or is it not? Your stuff is a bit more straightforward for the most part, but I'm going to put that up definitely as well.
Thank you. No, definitely. I mean, I have started studying, but I'm just also trying to make sure that I focus intentionally on not that we know exactly what's going to come out, but put maximum effort into the correct things.
And what I like about the way they examine this is they're not trying to trick you guys.
Exactly.
They're not going. I mean, with some modules, and this is now over years, sometimes you read the case study and you really, really, really have to work for it. They don't give you anything.
Yeah.
You need to, the case study itself tests whether you know the concepts and can identify things. They don't name it explicitly. Whereas with you guys, the things are there. It's quite clear. It's not hidden.
Yeah.
If you know the theory, you can figure out what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to say. So, yeah, that always helps.
No, that's fine.
If you
Thank you
don't have
so
to
much.
worry about trickery in which is actually what it is at the end of the day. If you don't have to worry about that. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And sorry I was a little bit late.
No,
I really
no.
wanted to get there. But I'll watch your full video probably once it's uploaded, which probably be later tonight or tomorrow. Am I correct?
Yes. I'm actually
Okay,
going to well, it depends on how quickly this thing makes it available for me. Last week it took ages, or the week before. But yeah, it should hopefully be done by, I'm hoping, 8 o'clock, and then I can quickly download and upload.
Thank you so much, Andile. Thank you.
Not a problem, Malini. And like I said, if there are any questions, I know you quite good at contacting me, but yeah, please continue to do so. And yeah, if push comes to shove, if there's a need for it, we can try and work in a session somewhere. I can actually ask the timetabling people if there are, because I just need to check at your timetables as well.
Yeah, we're still having, for now, we're still having economics. I think we're still having the 6 to 7 tomorrow, and then we do on the week that I've got organized psychology. I've got business management on Thursday, which is usually 7:30 to 8:30. So I think there is still time slots, but I can always just email you if there's something that I need.
No, not a problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and have a good week.
Thank you so much. And if we do not talk again like this, good luck.
Okay, thank you, Andile.
I know
Thank
you'll
you
knock
so
it
much.
out of the park, so not a problem.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all your support. Greatly appreciate. Thank you.
Always
Bye-bye.
welcome. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.